Okay, now I have a lot of extremely cool research on light, and here is some of the things that I have made statements on. I am saying the sunspots are anchored and they are rubbing hard against the things that they are impacting with, which is the particles in space. I believe they are raised surfaces. I believe the surface of the sun is not liquid and molten and all these things in fusion. I believe, and I know, the sun's surface is 6,000 degrees and the corona is millions. The corona is being excessively heated because it's spinning against these particles in space, against the atmosphere of the sun. And the same thing with us. We have the identical same situation. So there's 6,000 on the surface, millions in the corona. Only reason is because it's scrubbing there, not on the surface. Now, and all of those electric activity on the surface is because things are rubbing into the electrical particles that are in the atmosphere. And they're rubbing harder where the sunspots are. Obviously, something's sticking up. Now, light is particles. I've shown that, and here they are right there. These are particles coming through. The particle is right in the center. You see that little thing there? It's coming through here, and this is the field that surrounds it. This one's being crushed on both sides, and it's shot right out of here like a cork. We have some outstanding research, and this is in the electron range, which means these are electron neutrino showers, something they claim is impossible. Anyway, all bodies scrub through the space particles. You go through space, you're scrubbing through the particles. There's nothing, you can't do anything about it. Earth is 90 degrees on the surface, approximately, let's say. The magnetosphere way out is 56,000. Why? Why is that 56,000? It's because it's scrubbing through space. And it's particle against particle, creating heat. Now, Earth sucks electrons, and that is gravity. That's all gravity is. The Earth is spinning, creating magnetic field, pulling the particles through, sucking everything to Earth. Things that are encapsulated, they don't fall into the Earth, they just slam to the Earth harder as the more electrons are in a more confined space. I talked about hydrogen and helium don't have enough in a confined space, they go up. Now, so anyway, the Earth sucks. That's Earth sucks electrons. That's gravity. So anyway, light in transit. Obviously, light's coming from the sun. I show their particles. I give over and over and over. I show their particles. They're in space. They just don't concuss. They're dark. They're dark matter and dark energy. That's as simple as it gets. And that's what all stuff is. Everything that emits light, as it's in the non-concussed state, just floating around through space, and they don't have to go at any special speed. They can just drift around, and the ones in our atmosphere and our ionosphere are just lingering out there. Now, when they come to Earth, they come at a certain speed, yes. Light does, because it's just a particle. All right, now, magnetic snap. They say, oh, there's a magnetic snap out there. Well, yes, there is. And that magnetic snap is just like you took a whip and went, stoom. It's an electronic boom. It's a filament of electricity shooting out, and then it can only go so far, and it's being held back. And as it gets held back, it snaps like a whip. And they say, ooh, we just never thought of that. Anyway, so that's the whip effect. Light in transit is dark matter and dark energy. Magnetic snap is the whip effect. Earth atmosphere absorbs electrons. Now here's where we got the issue. And this is why we got to get into fusion. Earth's atmosphere absorbs electrons. Heat is nothing more than pushing electrons where they do not want to be. So they become excessive electrons. That means they excite everybody else in there. They push against them. They create these fields. They create energies. That's heat. You suck them all out and you got cold. I mean, this is it's all it is. Push them in, heat. Suck them out, cold. Case closed. If you suck everyone out, you end up with a Bose-Einstein condensate, where there is no temperature differences in the molecules because there is no excess electrons. Simple as that. Now here's the problem though. Earth is exactly like a battery. It absorbed, oh yeah, well give me some, yeah, give them to me, I'll charge up. Well, it's charged up, and all of a sudden the earth is charged, the dirt in the earth, the surface of the earth, the water in the earth, the atmosphere in the earth, the trees in the earth, the cars, every single thing has heated up, is absorbed enough to the point where it says, no, I'm overcharging now. That's it, so get out of here. It says, no, it's just coming, baby. There's nothing you can do about it. And we may be taking more in now than we ever have before. And I can tell you one thing for certain, we are spitting out more electrons into the atmosphere than ever before, because every bit of combustion, every bit of heat, every bit of energy spits out electrons as a byproduct of that particular action, which is combustion. CO2 is, they say CO2 is a problem. Well, it's not CO2. It's the electrons that are emitted when the combustion occurs. And the only way to get out of this that I can think of is fusion. And I don't even know if that'll get us out of it or even if it'll help. But it's free energy. Now, and I think we can do it in 30 days. Because we're seeing charge separation. You saw it, I saw it, everybody can see it. There's nothing hidden here. It's very simple to do. You see charge separation. If you can charge separate particles that are in heavy hydrogens, when they come back together, they will create helium, which is a lower energy level than the heavy hydrogens. You end up with an excessive bunch of particles. And they will go into become heat or energy or light or however you want to do it. They'll become electrons. You can suck them off through an electrode and they will charge batteries and so forth. And they'll run whatever they are. So this is power. And it should have a bunch of extra power free. Just by, I mean, there's some work to do here, but all you need is a vacuum chamber, you need a little bit of acceleration, and then you need a good tuned Venturi. And then you need some kind of an electrode to suck off the power. And then another way to get the helium out of there. And I'm not sure exactly what the little details are, but I can tell you what. If you can do fusion, if you can do plasma with these particles, the tiniest particles, you're in. It's case closed as far as I'm concerned. If that's, I know we're doing that. But we need heavy hydrogens. I don't have the capability to do any of that stuff. So, I think it's time to look at this, because if we can do fusion, at least we can get some energy that's not going to be polluting, because that's the problem. Everything they do now is pollution oriented, except, solar cells and all that, but, you can only do so much with that. Fusion looks like it might be very, very effective.